Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie, and today we are on day 333. I am so happy that you're here today. Welcome to the channel. For those who have been following for a while, you may notice that the background is different and that I might be a little different. And it's because I am on vacation. I have decided to leave work for a little while and decompress, and I am visiting my children in Minnesota. Actually, my son and my daughter-in-law, but we don't worry about the in-law business. She's my daughter. I am so happy to see them, and stay tuned for after the reading, and I can give you a little information about how they met and how prayer definitely changes things. So today, we are going to be reading out of 2 Chronicles chapters 1 and 2 and Micah chapter 4. And then we're going to close out our day with John 3. Format is saying verses 18 through 36. However, I am switching it to John chapter 3, verses 16 through 36. All right, so let's get started. 2 Chronicles chapters 1 and 2. We're going to be starting this today. Here we go. Solomon, the son of David, was firmly established in his kingdom, and Yahweh his God was with him, and made him exceedingly great. Solomon spoke to all Israel, to the captains of thousands and of hundreds, to the judges, and to every prince in all Israel, the heads of the fathers' households. Then Solomon and all the assembly with him went to the high place that was at Gibeon, for God's tent of meeting was there, which Yahweh's servant Moses had made in the wilderness. But David had brought God's ark up from Kiriath Jearim to the place that David had prepared for it, for he had pitched a tent for it at Jerusalem. Moreover, the bronze altar that Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, had made was there before Yahweh's tabernacle, and Solomon and the assembly were seeking counsel there. Solomon went up there to the bronze altar before Yahweh, which was at the tent of meeting, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it. That night God appeared to Solomon and said to him, "Ask for what you want me to give you." And Solomon said to God, "You have shown great loving kindness to David my father, and have made me king in his place. Now, Yahweh God, let your promise to David my father be established, for you have made me king over a people like the dust of the earth in multitude. Now give me wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people, for who can judge this great people of yours?" And God said to Solomon, "Because this was in your heart, and you have not asked for riches and wealth, honor, or the life of those who hate you, nor yet have you asked for long life, but have asked for wisdom and knowledge for yourself, that you may judge my people over whom I have made you king. Therefore wisdom and knowledge is granted to you. I will give you riches, wealth, and honor, such as none of the kings have had who have been before you, and none after you will have." So Solomon came from the high place that was at Gibeon, from before the tent of meeting, to Jerusalem, and he reigned over Israel. Solomon gathered chariots and horsemen. He had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen that he placed in the chariot cities, and with the king at Jerusalem. The king made silver and gold to be as common as stones in Jerusalem, and he made cedars to be as common as the sycamore trees that are in the lowland. The horses which Solomon had were brought out of Egypt and from Kue. The king's merchants purchased them from Kue. They imported from Egypt, then exported a chariot for 600 pieces of silver and a horse for 150. They also exported them to the Hittite kings and the Syrian kings. chapter 2. Now Solomon decided to build a house for Yahweh's name, and a house for his kingdom, Solomon counted out 70,000 men to bear burdens, 80,000 men who were stone cutters in the mountains, and 3,600 to oversee them. Solomon went to Hiram, the king of Tyre, saying, "As you dealt with David my father, and sent him cedars to build him a house in which to dwell, so deal with me. Behold, I am about to build a house for the name of Yahweh my God, to dedicate it to him, to burn before him incense of sweet spices, for the continual show of bread, and for the burnt offerings, morning and evening, on the Sabbaths, on the new moons, and on the set feasts of Yahweh our God. This is an ordinance forever to Israel. The house which I am building will be great, for our God is greater than all gods. But who is able to build him a house, since heaven and the heaven of heavens can't contain him? Who am I then, that I should build him a house, except just to burn incense before him? Now therefore, send me a man skillful to work in gold, in silver, in bronze, in iron, and in purple, crimson, and blue, and who knows how to engrave engravings, to be with the skillful men who are with me in Judah and in Jerusalem, whom David my father provided. Send me also cedar trees, cypress trees, and algum trees out of Lebanon, for I know that your servants know how to cut timber in Lebanon. Behold, my servants will be with your servants, even to prepare me timber in abundance, for the house which I am about to build will be great and wonderful. Behold, I will give to your servants, the cutters who cut timber, 20,000 cores of beaten wheat, 20,000 baths of barley, 20,000 baths of wine, and 20,000 baths of oil." Then Hiram, the king of Tyre, answered in writing, which he sent to Solomon, "Because Yahweh loves his people, he has made you king over them." Hiram continued, "Blessed be Yahweh, the God of Israel, who made heaven and earth, who has given to David the king a wise son, endowed him with direction and understanding, who would build a house for Yahweh and a house for his kingdom. Now I have sent a skillful man endowed with understanding, Hiram-Abai, the son of a woman of the daughters of Dan, and his father was a man of Tyre. He is skillful to work in gold, in silver, in bronze, in iron, in stone, in timber, in purple, in blue, in fine linen, and in crimson. Also to engrave any kind of engraving, and to devise any device, that there may be a place appointed to him with your skillful men, and with the skillful men of my lord David your father. Now therefore, the wheat, the barley, the oil, and the wine which my lord has spoken of, let him send to his servants, and we will cut wood out of Lebanon, as much as you need. We will bring it to you in rafts by sea to Joppa. Then you shall carry it up to Jerusalem." Solomon counted all the foreigners who were in the land of Israel after the census with which David his father had counted them, and they found 153,600. He set 70,000 of them to bear burdens, 80,000 who were stone cutters in the mountains, and 3,600 overseers to assign the people their work. That is a huge task. So if we remember, when we go, nerd alert, when we go to the measurements, so they were saying in verse 10, if I can see it, I'm telling you, I'm sure you can tell the lighting in here is terrible. So the cutters who will cut timber, 20,000 cores of beaten wheat, 20,000 baths of barley, 20,000 baths of wine, and 20,000 baths of oil. 1 core is the same as a homer, or about 55.9 US gallons, or 211 liters, or 6 bushels, or 20,000 cores of wheat would weigh about 545 metric tons. Oh my goodness. Okay, moving into Micah chapter 4. Here we go. Hold on. Got a low battery on top of everything. I'm telling you, we are on the fly today. Here we go. Micah chapter 4. But in the latter days, it will happen that the mountain of Yahweh's temple will be established on the top of the mountains, and it will be exalted above the hills, and peoples will stream to it. Many nations will go and say, "Come, let's go up to the mountain of Yahweh and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths." For the law will go out of Zion, and Yahweh's word from Jerusalem, and he will judge between many peoples, and will decide concerning strong nations afar off. They will beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not lift up sword against nation, neither will they learn war any more. But every man will sit under his vine and under his fig tree. No one will make them afraid, for the mouth of Yahweh of armies has spoken. Indeed, all nations may walk in the name of their gods, but we will walk in the name of Yahweh our God forever and ever. In that day, says Yahweh, I will assemble that which is lame, and I will gather that which is driven away, and that which I have afflicted. And I will make that which was lame a remnant, and that which was cast far off a strong nation. And Yahweh will reign over them on Mount Zion from then on, even forever. You, tower of the flock, the hill of the daughter of Zion, to you it will come. Yes, the former dominion will come, the kingdom of the daughter of Jerusalem. Now why do you cry out loud? Is there no king in you? Has your counselor perished, that pains have taken hold of you as of a woman in travail? Be in pain and labor to give birth, daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now you will go out of the city and will dwell in the field, and will come even to Babylon. There you will be rescued. There Yahweh will redeem you from the hand of your enemies. Now many nations have assembled against you that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye gloat over Zion. But they don't know the thoughts of Yahweh, neither do they understand his counsel, for he has gathered them like the sheaves to the threshing floor. Arise and thresh, daughter of Zion, for I will make your horn iron, and I will make your hoofs bronze. You will beat in pieces many peoples, and I will devote their gain to Yahweh, and their substance to the Lord of the whole earth. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. All right, let's close out this reading. We're going to read John chapter 3. I am starting at verse 16 and finishing at verse 36. For God so loved the world that he gave his only born Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to judge the world, but that the world should be saved through him. He who believes in him is not judged. He who doesn't believe has been judged already, because he has not believed in the name of the only born Son of God. This is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and men loved the darkness rather than the light, for their works were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light and doesn't come to the light, lest his works would be exposed. But he who does the truth comes to the light, that his works may be revealed, and they have been done in God. After these things, Jesus came with his disciples into the land of Judea. He stayed there with them and baptized. John also was baptizing in Enron near Salem, because there was much water there. They came and were baptized, for John was not yet thrown into prison. Therefore, a dispute arose on the part of John's disciples and some Jews about purification. They came to John and said to him, "Rabbi, he who was with you beyond the Jordan, to whom you have testified, behold, he baptizes, and everyone is coming to him." And John answered, "A man can receive nothing unless it has been given him from heaven. You yourselves testify that I said, I am not the Christ, but I have been sent before him. He who has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. Therefore, my joy is made full. He must increase, but I must decrease. He who comes from above is above all. He who is from the earth belongs to the earth and speaks of the earth. He who comes from heaven is above all. What he has seen and heard, of that he testifies, and no one receives his witness. He who has received his witness has set his seal to this, that God is true. For he whom God has sent speaks the words of God, for God gives the Spirit without measure. The Father loves the Son and has given all things into his hand. One who believes in the Son has eternal life, but one who disobeys the Son won't see life, but the wrath of God remains on him. That goes a little against what I personally was taught, and I hope you all picked up on it. I am not here to preach to anybody. I'm here to read the words in this Bible and for people to be able to hear what Jesus said. Jesus did not come here to condemn. He came to save. And those who choose to not believe, they're the ones that are going to be condemned. So those of us who do believe and have a relationship with Christ, while we are still not perfect, there are things I did today that were not representative of what Jesus would have me do. You know, I got in a stupid little argument. It was mindless and dumb. And, that's not what Jesus would have for me. Is he going to condemn me? No. Because I am in relationship with him and I can ask his forgiveness. And I did ask forgiveness from the other person. So anyways, I sure hope you enjoyed these words today. If you need to hop off, please come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 334. We will continue here on location in Minnesota. So have a fantastic day. If you are curious about a little story I have, let's continue on. So I am here in Minnesota visiting my oldest son. Back in, what was it, 2015 or so, he was just turning, I think he was still 17, anyways, maybe 18. And unbeknownst to me, he had met this girl online that lives in Minnesota. And of course, he didn't tell me about it or anything. But unbeknownst to him, since he had turned 14, I was praying for whoever it was he was going to meet. So essentially, I was also praying for her when she was 14. So, 4 years later, after I'm praying, please, Lord, please watch over the love of his life. Please keep her safe. Please keep her healthy. Please let them find each other. 4 years later, I guess they did find each other. They found each other online on a platform. And I wasn't aware of it. He just kind of sprung it on me. He said, I'm going to fly out to Minnesota to meet this girl. I'm leaving in, I think it was like 3 days or something. So, of course, I spazzed out, forgetting everything I had prayed for 4 years. And really, in my mind, when I had been making that prayer, or saying that prayer, he wasn't going to be leaving the state. He was going to find somebody in high school. So anyways, he flies out, and they really fell in love with each other. And he ended up moving. He visited the first time. He visited, I think it was for a week. And then, excuse me, he called me and he said, all right, I'm coming back, but it's just to wrap things up because I'm going to move there. I was like, what? So, excuse me, it's very dry out here. So, so he ended up coming on out and moving here and proposing to her, and they got married. And she is the absolute joy of my life. This is how prayer changes things. It is not specifically how I prayed or what I specifically wanted or imagined. Oh my gosh, it was so much bigger and better than anything I could have ever conjured up in a prayer. So, I actually began doing the same thing for my youngest son when he was 14, the same prayer. And of course, thank you for bringing me my daughter-in-law. Thank you for bringing my son his wife, but thank you for bringing me such a cool daughter-in-law. And so I started praying the same thing for my youngest son when he was about 14. And I'll tell you what, again, not what I had expected or had in mind. Thankfully, he is still local, but she is absolutely beautiful and perfect for him. I could have never conjured up in my mind anyone more perfect for my youngest son. So my point is this is how prayer changes things. If you are wishing or hopeful or just questioning which direction to go, reach out to him and reach out to him as Abba Father, and he hears you. We read in Psalms that he bends his ear to hear us. He loves us. And, it might take a couple weeks. It might take 4 years for your prayers to be answered. But I'll tell you what, I have seen it firsthand. So that's why I'm here in Minnesota now. I am visiting with them. I am having the best time. And, I have my makeup on because we went to family for Thanksgiving meal. And, I had to try and dress up a little bit. And, so I'm going to be here for the next few days. Hopefully the next video we'll go ahead and get some good lighting from the window. It actually did snow tonight. So I'm going to hop off and I'm going to go enjoy it for a little bit because I think this is the only day it's going to snow. Thank you so much for stopping by. Sorry for the weird lighting and the amazing brick walls. There's a whole story behind this place too. Maybe I'll tell you on one of these days. Have the most wonderful day today. Come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 334. I will be here and I will see you then. See you then, everybody. Bye.